Hi everyone, LazyFire here. Welcome back to Shadow of Mordor. This episode we're going to go take on the tower. I have a special guest with me.
Good day. I am the Scruffy one, and I'm here because I'm Batman.
Indeed. Scruffy is who I associate with the Batman LPs, but he's also doing the Evil Within LP right now. Uh, Before we get on with the main thrust of this mission, we are doing an Outcast mission, because otherwise this mission would be something along the lines of 10 minutes long. Because
Oh yeah, because it's kind of shortish.
the end game for this game is fucking miserably bad.
Lacking.
Lacking's a good term. I like that. That doesn't make it sound like I'm making fun of everyone who's involved in the game. But yeah, there's very little to it. So I actually brought you along because the tower boss fight rips off the Mr. Freeze boss fight from Arkham City like harshly.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces, and I mean it makes sense, but I mean this game itself it's pretty harshly, hey, I'm Batman, so it makes sense.
Oh, definitely. I'm trying to call this guy over, but he's just not getting it.
Well, hey, that other guy, he's fine, right? No.
Yeah, he's good.
But yeah, so I played a bit of this. I want to say that I'd gotten all the war chiefs marked, branded, and for some reason I just stopped. I don't know why.
Is that you, Ranger?
I've had a couple of games like that. Let me see if I think I shoulder charge this man. Goodbye, friend. I never get tired of that move. That is like my favorite fucking thing in this game ever since I got I mentioned this in one of the other videos, but I got a rune that was, that does like 100 times damage per hit as long as
heavens.
every 20 hits or 20% of the time. So I'll straight on kill orcs by shoulder charging them at times.
Shoot, it reminds me of playing an unarmed character in Fallout 3. Shoulder charge a dude and watch his limbs go flying off.
You know what, I gotta say, in Fallout 3, I never really got into the melee combat in that game. I could just never get it to work right. But in New Vegas, that was where I had to use melee all the time because the guns felt super good.
Yeah, I could see that. The big trick I found for the melee combat is you're gonna have to use a lot of stim packs.
Oh, yeah. That too.
But at a certain point, I think I hit level 5, and I got the Bloody Mess trait, and I just, at that point, before I got Bloody Mess, I punched off a super mutant's arm.
Oh, well, I mean...
And after I got Bloody Mess, I punched his torso, and the rest of the limbs stayed there, but the torso went flying away.
Oh, man. Fallout 3 in New Vegas had some really great moments, so let's hope they don't screw that up with Fallout 4.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. It's weird, we're getting off topic, but there's really not a huge amount of the game to talk about here. Shoulder charge people, stab them in the face. I've been doing this for 36 hours now. No, something like 25. That's just,
Yeah, I know that. I know the feeling.
yeah.
This is a good game. It's honestly, I'd kind of compare it to Mercenaries 2.
I never played that one.
Oh, you should. Mercenaries 2 is really good. I think the way I've heard it described is like it's like an abusive spouse who's good in bed. The game has its issues, but it's just everything is exploding all the time, and you can always make it explode more.
As long as I can make it explode more, that's all I really care about.
It's delightful. But this game, it's super well optimized. I think almost anybody who bought this on a PC can probably run it. Like, they could be running a 386 processor and it would still run.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mentioned this in the last video because I've already recorded that one. But this game, when it came out, you had to have a certain specification on your graphics card. Right there, I'm showing why the chain shadow strike kind of sucks. You can't just hit the button once, you have to keep tapping it until it works.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I never got that one, so crisis averted.
Yeah, but one of the things, you have to have a really high-end, at the time it was like a 4 gigabyte VRAM graphics card to download the patch to give you ultra textures. And they were a small step up from the textures that I'm using now, which are the high ones. I just didn't even bother with downloading the ultra patch. The textures in this game look totally fine. I'm trying to turn off the fire thing there, It just won't happen. It won't work.
Just go for it, Ranger. Just do it.
I always love the fact that you have those special moves. I wish they kind of bring something like that to the Batman games, where you can just basically charge up, whatever it is, takedowns or arm breakers, whatever you want to call them.
That's actually something they've done. Is they changed up the way the free flow power gadgets work. They no longer just like automatically activate and take away your combo. What it is if you hold down whatever quick fire gadget you're going to use, he'll use that to do a takedown. So if you hold down the batarang button, he'll throw explosive batarangs right in the dude's faces and take them out.
Nice.
Yeah, and they have one of those I think for every gadget, so it's pretty good.
Bat claw that just rips his throat out.
Not quite. I think you bat claw the dude so hard and you catch him in midair and then do a slam on him.
Oh, nice. So here's something I found when I was doing this. You see how I just branded that one guy, and he's right near one of these. He's right near one of these guys, and you're like, oh yeah, you should be able to talk to me now, right? Oh no, there's one more guy over here. Okay, I'll take him out. All right, now you're gonna give me the mission, right? Right? No? Yeah. It turns out you can't just like brand the guys nearby. You have to kill them, otherwise it won't work.
I've been shoulder checked in the face like that before. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, hockey's a vicious sport. All right.
No, I was playing Ultimate Frisbee.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We wish to thank you
for
coming to
remember, like, there are characters in this game.
Yeah, and then you see them for, like, a part of the game, and they never show up afterwards, like the dwarf.
Uh-huh. Well, Thariel's stuck around for a full half the game.
That's true. Yeah, she's been around since you entered, what's the series called, Nern?
Yeah, she actually showed up, like, one mission before that, and then you came over here.
That's right, yep, she showed up at the end of you fighting the, what's his name? The mace.
Hammer.
Yeah, the hammer, that one.
So I will forgive anyone who does not remember exactly who these motherfuckers are, because they show up each exactly... Oh, no, sorry. 2 of them show up twice in the entire fucking game. The last boss and the first boss. The guy we're going to see shows up 3 times in the entire game. That is so bad. So bad.
Yeah, it's, I feel like they put a lot more effort into the gameplay than they did into the story, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
But that's not a bad thing. I mean, shoot, isn't that what most people want, is an emphasis on gameplay over story?
Yeah, and I can understand it from one end, but you're like, if you're going, okay, I want to have this big climactic showdown at the end of the game,
you have to have some investment.
Yeah. For most of the time, the people I've been up against are like these specific orcs that I've branded.
Yeah, it's all about the captains. You know, the captains are the ones that get all the personality, which is why when your nemesis shows up, oh man, it's go time.
You mean this guy, Ushkul?
I mean this guy.
Fucking Ushkul, back from the dead because he's still my nemesis.
Ha 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 ha. I had one of those. That guy was terrible.
Yeah, I loved having this fight and the last huge fight you have in the game, where it's just like, let's bring out people you haven't seen in a while or new bosses.
I see
I love
in the
this
future
little speech he gives.
shadow that will cover Middle Earth.
It's just so...
The Grave Walker.
Melodramatic.
Tiny flame.
It's just...
He's so eloquent.
And usually he just run away from me at this point.
Spill misery
I believe that at this point in the game, if you run up against one of these guys, they will not have any of the fears they had before. But you also will probably notice that there are no flies here, there are no Karagors or anything like that.
Oh, so there's nothing to take advantage of.
Yeah, you just gotta fight all these guys. But you have all your war chiefs.
Yeah, this guy's got the soul of a poet. I love him.
Yeah, I wish I ran into a poet or a scholar or something like that through the gameplay, but they just...
So then you could have them be the... Yeah, I wonder what they would say.
Ooh, where'd that arrow come from? Alright, so... One of the things about this fight is that it's almost trivially easy if you do this move.
Oh yeah, I can... Ooh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that'll do it.
That's the end of it.
Man filth! Once wasn't enough for you, eh?
See, and this is where having all your war chiefs on your side is going to do you a big favor, because anything he's immune to, it's definitely not immune to Not immune to war chief hits.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that's one of the things that, like I mentioned. Once again, I'm going to keep referencing the last video in the series, but like one of the things that is really weird about the game is that they give you all these unique orcs to fight against, and like if you have just a random orc, they'll be able to go through any shield. If you have, you know, a hunter or something like that, they'll be able to shoot anyone, and no repercussions, even if they're immune to ranged attacks. And it's
Rip
just
Ushgold the Puny.
yeah, second time around. He put his head back on last time. And he
I've
dropped
had that
it.
happen.
Yeah.
How many Uruk do you command in Dale?
Yeah, I think I had a I think I put it somewhere in the thread. My nemesis was a guy named Tors the Brown. He was immune to stealth, immune to combat, beast killer. Basically, the only thing you could do to him was ranged.
Yeah,
It was awful.
Yeah, unless you have your arrow supply built up pretty high, it's going to be bad. I think every captain's actually vulnerable to explosives, so if you can work
Oh yeah, and
towards
or
some
you could
grog
work.
barrels.
Can't you do the Don't you get the fire arrows too? Do those count?
Yeah, fire arrows will work on them too. He'll still burn if he doesn't take any damage from the arrow itself.
Expecting you.
So, this is a sad little boss fight that it tries to ape the Mr. Freeze fight. I don't really worry about spoiling this at this point. Where you have to kind of stealth brand the enemy 3 times. Sadly, it's not really as interesting as the Mr. Freeze fight, where that was like one of those defining moments for Arkham City. You're going through and you're going up and down and trying to get new ways to hit him. This one doesn't really do that.
Yeah, that's something I have seen this fight. I haven't played it, but I've seen it. It's he's not as adaptive as Mr. Freeze is. You know,
Yeah.
I think he'll constantly get hit by the same takedowns, won't he?
Yes, and you can like call him over to you and shit. It is just like branding an orc like 3 times, basically, is all it is.
You know, the thing I will say is he does have a lot more ability to kill you than Mr. Freeze did. Just Mr. Freeze, you could escape from pretty well. This guy, as soon as he sees you, he's going to clamp on you.
Yeah.
And I
wouldn't-
think what you can take 4 hits.
I wouldn't know, because you kind of have to try to get hit by this guy. I think
Cast off.
it's pretty easy to avoid him simply because of your vision abilities and how much space they give you to work with in the area, and the fact that he
you don't
won't look up.
exactly you don't exactly have a smart guy on the other side of this equation.
And I think that's one of those things that the designers probably did on purpose. Like, at this point, it's, hey, let's just get him through this game. The
Sure.
last fight, my god.
You know,
the
maybe
last fight.
maybe people were running to exhaustion at this point. You know, like I said, I never got to the point where I did the big war chief fight, just because I don't know why I stopped, but I know there was a reason I stopped.
The game can kind of grate on you after a time. I will straight on say that. I didn't really have the exhaustion this time around that I thought I would, but there was definitely a point in the LP where I was like, I just want this to be done with. You know?
Yeah, because I mean, the game doesn't do, I would say, a very good job of keeping you on point.
Yeah, no,
You know, you've got your different fights, you've got your goals, but at no point does it feel very relevant.
Yeah, that's a good
You
way
know,
to put it.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like, oh, I have to do the story because all this crazy stuff's going on. I mean, honestly, I had a lot more fun just screwing with war chiefs.
Why didn't you die?
So, right here, this is all you do. You get in a spot where you can drain him, then he teleports away loses about a quarter of his health.
But he does have his tricks, aren't there? Aren't there multiple guys looking around, or no?
No, as far as I know, there's only the one.
Huh. I thought they had the video I watched. They had multiple shadow images of him, and only one would be the right one.
Oh, well, I might be just lucky because I'm always looking through the elf vision, which is...
Well, even he would show up in the elf vision.
Huh.
Yeah, and then you would have to Like, you'd have to figure out which one was the right one. Like, you'd see them all in elf vision, but you might get snuck up on or something like that.
Oh.
But I guess, it's more of an idea of, wouldn't it be a great idea if they actually did this for the boss fight?
Yeah, maybe that was... Look at this. Look at this one. That no-joke just worked.
Yeah, he's kind of unlucky there.
Look at that. That was it. That was it. That was the entire goddamn fight.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, they could have probably done having you do different takedowns, or if they did, it would also have to be more of them, because only having to hit the dude 3 times and you're done, that's
yeah, it's a little limited. I'll give it that.
But it's okay. The rest of this game plays through so well that the few missteps it makes, I can't be too mad at.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You have these battles, these boss fights at the end. You have
Your family again.
you have to admit that the game gives you these roving boss battles in the form of the war chiefs and captains and everything.
Oh yeah,
it's not
they
like-
really do.
When you get to these things, you're like, oh, this is a little less than I thought it would be. You're just like at the point where it's like, well, you've already had like these really awesome fights against all these orcs, and you've started riots, and put out death threats, and all this other stuff. There's no real
that's
reason to complain about these
the way I would
fights.
think about it is the game doesn't really have any spectacular set pieces. Like, the only one that comes to mind is the big war chief battle.
Oh yeah. When you if you do a riot or something like that, those are always fun. But yeah, I just don't feel like there's like you said, there's not like a lot of set pieces. It feels like it was one of those games that was, hey, let's make your own fun on this thing.
Yeah, and when they do, man, you can have a lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You really can, but most of the games are set, you go from set piece to set piece, and those are usually, the big highlights of the game. But here, you don't have that much investment in all these things, maybe because the set pieces weren't utilized very well.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's weird. Like I said, the set pieces in the game are at best limited, but it's you don't really you might feel attachment to some of the orcs more than you feel attachment to
Yeah.
Talion or the dwarf character or whatever the hell.
Like, I hated the hell out of Taurus the Brown because the dude made my life a living hell. But I love that guy. I would not trade him for anybody. He's my evil guy.
Perhaps he enjoyed a free meal.
But that's the whole. I don't know why I didn't cut this out in the end of the day, but I guess it just pads out the episode a little bit.
Whispering, probably, for our dumb voices not talking over it.
It's just nothing. I've been cutting out all of the loading screens that we've heard before, so it's not like there's anything else. Which is, by the way, another nice touch the game has is throwing in
Must return to Queen Margaret.
like all the old stuff, like the things that happened before the game, filling out Talion's personality by doing those audio bits. Those are actually kind of nice. I like those.
Yeah, because, from the start of the game, all you really know about Talion is, he's got a wife and son, and they died. But Talion himself, you only get ideas of who he is in snippets.
Yeah.
And that's not bad. I mean, I would say it goes a bit into giving him some, if you leave a little bit of mystery about him, he becomes a more interesting character.
Definitely, yeah. And it's just very weird to jump into the character, and your big thing about him is that he has, code of honor, and he's got his desire, and that's all you really know about him until you get to some of the loading screens. And I figure I might as well shoulder charge some Karagors here.
This plan can't possibly fail.
I've already done it once before in the LP. Actually, like 3 times now.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, but man, this plan, I like it. It's just crazy enough to work. The Karagors are like, dude, don't go near him, he's crazy.
He'll hit you straight in the face with the shoulder. It hurts like hell. So one of the things about the shoulder charge, though, is I really wish the upgraded version would just take out those shields, but they just don't.
Yeah, because you still have to hit the shields a couple times to break them, right?
Yeah. Or you can, I found it sometimes you can shoulder charge the shield and then hit him with the stun move like that, and you'll get right through. That's sometimes helpful. We don't really care about any of the war chiefs or captains right now, so I'm not really too concerned about how this guy goes. He does look a lot like Ushkul with better armor. So.
Well, he'll die just the same.
Oh yeah. They all die just as good.
Remember!
One of the weird things is that you can't, even when they're like that, they have the green thing there, you can't actually brand the captains unless you grab them, which is one of those odd gameplay choices, but I can understand it to a degree. Like, you have to work a little bit more to get them, but
Yeah,
you can
sure.
kill them just as easily as anyone else sometimes. Right now there's a guy still firing arrows at me.
Yeah, I've had it with his sass.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, those arrow guys are never really a big problem. I think they're actually mostly there so you can get from one area to another with the shadow charge kills.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
I was thinking about that the other day. They seem to be there to jump off of the platforms for no good reason when you're walking by, and for shadow kills. So
Yeah,
shadow-
because hey, there's your fast travel system right there. Just jump from archer to archer.
yeah, and they do throw enough of them out there that it actually works pretty well. People were mentioning it in the thread that I wasn't really using it to the best of my ability. There was also the statement that oh, here, I'm using it right now. See, very
Well,
good.
maybe the other possibilities for it are they could be there to give you more elf shot when you need it, just by stealth draining them, something like that.
Yeah. But
It just depends on what you use them for, I guess.
you see that kill?
Ooh, sweet.
Shoulder charge kill. There you go. 2 shoulder charges to take out the shield and a hit with the fist of doom there.
Nah.
I love punching people to death. You can actually stun them to death in this game, and that's always kind of hilarious. It's just you watch them get punched in the face. It's like, that was a really serious punch.
Nah. Well, hey, you just gotta take your punching seriously.
So there's.
I was expecting you to throw that guy in the fire.
I kind of was going to shoulder charge him into it, but I've still got 2 guys to find out who they are here, so figured, let this guy
Might as well
live.
go ahead and fill it out, right?
I'm a kind god.
A
Yeah,
kind lord.
this is really just at this point cleaning up stuff, because the last mission is like 10 minutes long. But there's no when Talion got back, he's like, "Oh yeah, the place is burning. We got to go help him." You can take as much time as you want. Just go right ahead.
No, so essentially this is the Riddler roundup of this game.
Yeah,
I like it.
this game, like, it doesn't have. I was gonna throw him off the cliff, to be honest. But it doesn't have the same amount of like stuff to go do as the Batman game, but it does it well.
Yeah, what this game really has going for it is it's very fun to just screw around with orcs,
Yeah. All right.
and it does that so well.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.